Okay, we want to go over the chapter 14 math here, which is basically all about calculating interest in loans, whether it be annual interest, monthly interest, daily interest, interest over the life of loans. All this math is pretty much based around the calculation of interest in loans. So question number 1 is really straightforward and says we want us to calculate the annual interest paid on each of the following loans. Well, if we look at our T-bar for interest, the T-bar looks like this. On the top we have annual interest, and then on the bottom of the T-bar we have the loan amount or principal amount, means the same thing, and the interest rate, the annual interest rate. So in this question, they want to know what's the annual interest. They want to know this number up at the top, which means we're going to multiply the loan amount times the rate. So in question number 1 right here, we've got $175,000 loan amount times a 6% interest rate. And that gives us annual interest of $10,500. Alright, on the second one, B, they've got a $250,000 mortgage at 4.25% interest, so we've got $215,000 at 4.25% interest. That is $9,137.50 in annual interest. And then on C, $196,528 mortgage. That's $196,528 at 3.75%. And that's going to be $7,369.80 annually. Now question 2 simply says for each of the 3 loans in question 1, calculate the monthly interest owed. Well, this is all annual interest. So if in A, for example, that's $10,500 per year. And we would divide that by 12 to get to our monthly interest. $10,500 divided by 12, and that equals $875 monthly. And then in B, we had $91,3750 in interest. $91,3750 per year divided by 12 months equals that is $761 and about 45 or 46 cents. It doesn't matter which you have. It's not going to matter that penny. If you're rounding, it's technically 46 cents, but either one will work. And then in C, we have $7,369.80. So we've got $73.69.80 per year divided by 12 equals $614.15 monthly. And these are all monthly numbers. Alright, question number 3 says calculate the annual interest owed on a new purchase loan made at 6% annual interest and 80% loan to value on a $450,000 purchase. Well, they want to know the annual interest owed, and so we know our T-bar looks like this. Annual interest on top, And on the bottom we have the loan amount principal amount of the loan, and we have the annual interest rate. Well, we know the annual interest rate. They gave us that. That's right here, 6%. What we don't know is the loan amount. And we don't know the loan amount because what they gave us is a loan-to-value ratio. Remember, that is the percentage of the value of the property that you can borrow from your lender. So, with a loan-to-value ratio, we're simply borrowing 80% of that $450,000. So we can say $450,000 times 80%. $450,000 times 80%. That equals $360,000 for our loan amount. And then, of course, we can bring that over to our T-bar over here. So our loan amount is $360,000 times our 6% annual interest rate. And that's going to give us annual interest of $21,600 per year. Yearly interest. $21,600 a year. Alright, number 4, calculate the monthly interest owed on the loan in question. Number 3, well again, that's just going to be divided by 12 because we've got annual interest of $21,600. Divide that by 12. And that gives us monthly interest of $1,800. So $1,800 monthly on that question. Number 5 says, calculate the monthly interest expense for a $215,000 mortgage at 5.25% annual interest. So again, we've got annual interest over the loan amount and the interest rate. Well, they gave us the interest rate. They also gave us the loan amount. So if we bring those things down, that's $215,000 times our loan amount, or our interest rate of 5.25%. So $215,000 times 5.25%. That is annual interest, $11,287.50 per year. And we would divide that by 12 to get it down to monthly. And that would be $940.63, 62 cents, 63 cents. Either one is fine. Alright, number 6 says, what's the daily interest charge for a 5% annual interest, 80% loan-to-value loan made on a $425,000 purchase? Well, daily interest is just going to be annual interest divided by 360. There are 360 days in the year, so we would figure out the annual interest and divide by 360. And for annual interest, we go back to that same formula we've been using. Annual interest over the loan amount times the interest rate. Well, they did give us the interest rate. That much we've got. 5%, it is right here. So we've got a 5% rate. What we don't know is the loan amount. We know that the loan is 80% of $425,000. So we can say 425 times 80%. And that's a $340,000 loan. And that tells us that we can multiply $340,000 times 5% to calculate our annual interest. Well, our annual interest is $17,000 per year. And this time, because we want to go to daily, we're going to divide that by 360. 360 days. And that's $47.22. $47.22 per day. Alright, number 7 says to calculate the accrued interest on a $250,000 mortgage loan at 6.5% interest as of June 18th, 2018. When we talk about accrued interest, we're talking about interest that has already built up in the past. So accrued interest on this loan is going to be from June 1, beginning of the month, through June 18th. That's 18 days. So we need to know how much the interest is for 18 days on this particular note. So we've got a $250,000 mortgage. Times 6.5% interest. So that is $16,250 per year in annual interest. And then we divide that by 360 because we need to break it down to daily. So that's $45 and about 14 cents per day. Times 18 days. And that equals an accrued interest charge of $812.52. $812.52 would be the accrued interest charge there. Number 8 wants us to calculate a payoff amount due to satisfy a mortgage. In fact, it wants us to use the same mortgage as in question 7, and it wants to calculate the payoff. Well, the payoff is simply going to be the principal amount of the loan, so that's $250,000, plus the accrued interest, because we would need to pay off the interest that had built up since our last payment. So that's going to be $250,812.52 for the payoff. Number 9 wants us to calculate the payoff of a mortgage loan issued at 4.75% interest with a principal balance of $318,650 if the loan is paid off on the 20th of September. So a payoff includes accrued interest, and the accrued interest in this case is from September 1 through September 20th, the closing day. So what we really need to know is how much interest is for 20 days. That's ultimately going to be the key to answering this question. We want to know how much interest is charged for a 20-day period of time. So the first thing we need to do is calculate annual interest. Annual interest is going to be our loan balance of $318,650 times the interest rate of 4.75%. And that equals $15,135.88 per year. And we could divide that by 360 to get our daily rate. That's $42.04, $42.04 a day. Times 20 days. And that's $840.80 in accrued interest. And of course we know our payoff is going to be the loan balance of $318,650 plus our accrued interest of $840.80. And that gives us a total payoff of $319,490.80. $319,490.80 going to be our total payoff on that mortgage note. All right, number 10. Andrew's obtaining a 5.25% interest rate mortgage loan for his $165,000 purchase. He's borrowing the full purchase price, so he's borrowing $165,000. His monthly PI payments on the loan are $911. Based on this payment, how much will be credited toward the principal balance of Andrew's loan on his first mortgage payment? So when we talk about things like PI payments, one of the things that we have to pay attention to is the order in which those expenses get paid. We might call it a PI payment with the principal listed first, but we pay the interest first. So interest paid first. So what we need to do is calculate how much of that $911 is going toward interest, because only the amount that's left over is going to go toward the principal. So let's work on calculating how much that payment goes toward interest. We've got a $165,000 loan amount, and it's at 5.25% interest. And that's $8,662.50 per year. And we want to divide that by 12 months. Because we're paying our mortgage monthly, so we need to get it down to monthly interest. And when we do that, we get monthly interest of $721.88 per month. And then that brings us to our big question here. How much of that $911 is going toward principal? Well, 911 minus 721.88 equals $189 and about 12 cents. $189 and about 12 cents. And that's the amount going toward principal out of that payment. Number 11 says, in question 10 above, what's the outstanding principal balance on Andrew's loan after that first payment? Well, the principal balance on the loan is going to be whatever the loan started at minus whatever we paid off. We started at $165,000. We paid off $189.12. And that leaves us owing $164,810 $1,062,888. $164,810.88 is our loan balance. Alright, number 12. Travis purchased a home in Garner with a sales price of $175,000 and a 90% loan-to-value loan. Excuse me, sorry about that. What is the remaining principal balance of the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage after 2 principal and interest payments have been made on this 4.5% interest rate loan? Sorry, I'm making some room for myself here. So after 2 principal and interest payments have been made, they want to know what the balance is on the loan. So basically, we've got to do the exact same process we just did in the question before, so we have to do it twice. We have to do it twice, right? So Travis purchased a home with a sales price of $175,000 and a 90% loan-to-value loan. So step 1 is going to be figure out how much we borrowed. $175,000 times 90%. Equals $157,500, and that's our loan amount. Okay, that's how much money we're borrowing. It's our starting point for our loan balance. We know we're paying $750 every month. That doesn't change. We just don't know how much of that is going toward interest, so therefore we don't know how much of it is going toward principal. So let's work on figuring that out. $157,500, and it's issued at 4.5% interest. That is $7,087.50 per year. So the yearly interest is $7,087.50. And if we want to divide that by 12, we can get it down to monthly. Monthly, that is $590.63. And that amount is coming out of this $750 over here. So it's $750 minus $590.63. But this $750 is a total of the principal and interest payment. And $590.63 is the amount that is paid toward interest. So if we pay the interest first, then we end up with $159.38 going toward principal. And then if we wanted to go the final step, which we do, we could take the principal balance of $175. Excuse me, I'm making a mistake there. Principal balance of $157,500. And then we're going to take away what we paid toward principal, $159.38. And that gives us a new loan balance after one payment of $157,340 and 63 cents. $157,340 and 63 cents. That's after payment number 1. For payment number 2, we got to repeat the whole process. So for number 2, we start at $157,340 and 63 cents. And we're still at the same interest rates. We go back up and look, we're still at 4.5%. So times 4.5%, that's going to give us our annual interest. And that is $7,080. Excuse me. $7,080.33 per year in interest. And we want to divide that by 12 to get it down to monthly. And that equals $590.03 in monthly. Interest. Now we go back and look at our full payment. Our full payment is still the same as $750. So we're paying $750. But paying first out of that $750, we're paying $590.03. And that equals $159.98. That's going toward interest. In principal. We subtracted the interest, so this is the principal. And now we can take that number and apply it back toward our principal balance after one payment. So $157,340.63. $157,340.63 minus $159.98 equals $157,180 and about 65 cents. That's our loan balance after two payments. Alright, that's a pretty good stopping point for this video, and we'll come back and in a subsequent video and pick it back up with number 13.